everybody. My name is Roman Brick. Those who watch my videos and see materials that I publish on social media know me. Those who don't know me, I am a father who's trying to remain a father in the lives of my two beautiful children, fighting for their most basic right, God-given, not government-given, right to have a father for about 5 years already. Half of it in the state of Washington, in Seattle, and half of it in New York. Let me preempt by saying that all my videos are protected by the First Amendment. It is my right and obligation to my children and to everyone's children to speak truth to power, to expose the government corruption, in particular court corruption, family court corruption. And we should all utilize our First Amendment before it is taken away, like the government took us our Sixth and Seventh Amendment, guaranteeing us jury trials in every type of court proceedings, because government can, will, and is using any type of proceedings in order to destroy our liberties and freedoms. So this video as well is fully protected by my freedom of speech. Most importantly, I am a God-fearing Jew, and I'm obligated by my faith to not bow to tyrants, not to fear tyranny, to expose it all. The morning liturgy for every observant person is to thank God for not being a slave. I'm not a slave. I will speak my mind, do it respectfully, but fearlessly. Please watch my story on Facebook and YouTube. In just several weeks, it was viewed by thousands of people. We all need to speak, show our faces, tell our stories. That's the only way to break out of this tyrannical nightmare. I was born in the Soviet Union. I know exactly what I'm talking about. My message seems to be well received by hundreds, thousands of people. Actually, I'm very grateful. And it shows that my key message that family courts are not an isolated phenomenon, just one tentacle of the engulfing slowly and recently much more rapidly moving dictatorship around us. This message is well received. It's family courts are just the spear tip of the, if you will, ideological transition, almost gender reassignment that is being forced on American society. Like millions of other fathers, I am a victim of endless false allegations. My children were taken from me more than a year and a half ago, based on another false allegation, another lie. I was fully acquitted and vindicated by a universally hated CPS. They're called ACS in New York. It's always three-letter abbreviation like AGB. You name it in every state, but they all act the same. And even then, fully acquitted me, and another judge as well. Still, the family court in Staten Island, Richmond County Family Court, in particular, Judge Janet McFarland refuses to release the kids back to me. And of course, it's done in order to let the parental alienation to set in. When I brought acquittal in front of the court, saying, you know, it was a lie at the beginning, and it's now proven lie. You know, you have your own part of your own system saying it was a lie. It was nothing there. You know what was the response? The response was shut up, no more motions. That was essentially what I got. It's unbelievable, but millions of fathers and mothers are dealing with it every day. Every day. This is not normal. This is very painful, and the only way tyranny is listening to is publicity. Is the court of public opinion. So that's why I'm presenting these videos and the materials to you, the public. You'll be the jury. You'll be the grand jury one day. Maybe hopefully this day is not too far. Judge Janet McFarland, who is the judge in my case, was exposed by me for giving illegal political payments, donations to her party. That's the same party, you can guess, that supports butchering unborn babies. Myself and other victims of McFarland who are open and stating their names without fear established a Facebook group called Fire Janet McFarland from Richmond County Family Court. Find it, join it. A lot of materials are being shared there. Other victims are speaking. It's very important to show that we will not be silenced and intimidated. the corruption in family court is so vast, it's so breathtaking. It's every direction you you dig, you will find unbelievable amount of information. Sometimes I even marvel at how clever and insidious the system that they built over the decades. It's all fully subverted. Every control mechanism is fully rotten. It's whatever you touch, there's so much to expose. So in this video, I want to concentrate, focus on something that has not been exposed before, and show you information that cannot be found anywhere else. We all suspect that the vast majority of court cases are assigned when the court assigns an attorney, a child representative, attorney for the child. They call them in New York, or 18B attorney. That's the state-funded attorney that is appointed or assigned to represent a defendant or a plaintiff, any party that the court decides. These appointments, we suspect, go to a small cohort of attorneys, and I have irrefutable proof to show you that that's indeed the case. It's one thing to say that, another thing is to show and see the data. I think it's very important to expose every part of this rot. If you go to New York State Unified Court System website, see their official reports, its information is not obtainable. You won't find any of it. It's all about the whole game that the system is playing is careful obfuscation while pretending to be transparent. So I want to walk you through my methodology. You will see how this information is open. Anyone can retrace my step. Anyone can see what I'm doing, recreate my step. I welcome any criticism. So let me switch the screen and show you what I'm doing.
Okay, so let me show you what is the methodology that I'm using. You type into the browser of your choice, web family, usually one of the first results, Judiciary of New York. That's a regular website. You have several options here: calendar, attorney firm search, resources. What you need for that particular task is calendars. You go here, you go through the CAPTCHA challenge. No bicycles here. Okay, we survived the challenge. Now let's go to the court. I am doing analysis on Richmond County Family Court. So here's Richmond Family. All locations. I have several locations, but I will look for all of them. Judges are in different buildings. Calendar range. It does let you select a day prior to today, but if you try to look, it doesn't allow you. You see, so it always it's truncated at the day of today. I did submit a FOIL, Freedom of Information Law request, asking to get data looking backward, but I was denied. Perhaps not surprisingly so. So we can select today. We'll work with what we have. And then you select any future date. The court calendar tapers off. So you can select, let's say, 5 years in the future, right? Any random date, find calendar. So the system retrieves the calendars for all the judges for that particular court, for that date range. You can see all the judges in the Richmond County Family Court. Quick note here, you can see Honorable Helen D. Sacco. She was the supervising judge for Richmond County Family Court until she was replaced by Alison Hamanjian. She's the new supervising judge. What's interesting, there's no appearances scheduled. But she's still on the payroll, and I assume very high payroll, so it's something for the public to pay attention. It's unclear to me, I think to the public as well, how the judges distribute their workload, but it's something to be mindful of. Now, let me show you. So I'm interested in analyzing the workload and the appearance of attorneys in front of Janet McFarland, the judge in my case. So that's her calendar. You can see the structure of it, right? The date, the time, file, docket number, docket type, the V dockets, they are visitation custody. We see O docket is family offense. You can see NN is neglect, NA is neglect and abuse. This column, I'm not sure what it's about. CSMS, maybe somebody can enlighten me in the comments, but it's not used apparently. It's mostly empty. Motion number, also sporadically filled out. Purpose is interesting. So what's motion, settlement, trial, things like that. We can run an analysis on that. Most important is the attorney. Who are the attorneys? So each case can potentially have up to 3 attorneys. Actually more, depends on the number of the children. But you can see, for example, this just random first case that came up in the schedule. There's another attorney with the last name Berliner. Also something to look into. He's an 18B, which is a state appointment assigned counsel for respondent. An attorney can be assigned by the state, paid by the state for the respondent or for the petitioner, and also attorney for the child, right? So up to 3 spots, 2 parents, 1 child, more children, more attorneys. Sometimes there's no attorneys, but you can typically see this column is filled, and we can again analyze all of it. Now let me show you another feature. In addition to searching by the schedule, the calendar for a particular judge, you can also look for a calendar for a particular attorney. So in my case, 2 state paid attorneys are against me in Richmond County Family Court. So let's look for the 18B attorney. Type in it, searching. Here he comes up. Okay, and you can see the his schedule all the way as far as the calendar goes. Now, how I use the data to turn it into actionable insights, and by the way, this is something that I before the family court nuclear bomb went off in my life. That's what I was doing. I graduated from prestigious universities with 2 degrees, LLB, and the master's. And my job is actually in analytics, analyzing, presenting insights to high-level executives in world-leading corporations, the largest corporation you can imagine. So anyone is welcome to challenge me, but this analysis is what is usually done to retrieve insights from data. Now, let me select all, Control A, Control C. Now let's switch to Excel. Let's open an empty Excel file, and we paste it here. So you can see now we have an actionable data set. This is just a preamble. We don't need it. We just need the title of the table. Okay, so I'm deleting that. Just another line we can delete, appearance, date, and time. Date and time is just spilled over to the next line. So deleting this as well. And here's our table. Okay, you can see the file, docket number, the judge. It's expanded. You can see the judges. Part is where they are. Appearance was the time. Purpose settlement. And then the attorney is the same attorney. That's what we retrieved, right? So this one delete as well. Just the header. Now we have a table. It's essentially a data set that we can analyze. We're doing it with I'm doing it with the help of a pivot table. So insert pivot table. Okay, new worksheet. Use it as a data model. Okay, and now you have a pivot table ready to go for you. And we can retrieve a bunch of very interesting insights. Okay, so let's see the cases by judge in which Ian Berliner is representing whether a petitioner, respondent, or a child. So this is the number of judges. That's the rows. This is the let's see the number of files. Okay, in front of a judge. Let's do unique count, not just the number of times the file is reported in the data, distinct count. Let's sort it by judge. Sort it by descending, distinct count of file. Okay. And here you go. As of today, Ian Berliner has 109 cases pending in Richmond County Family Court. and 40 cases coming from McFarland. 30 cases are coming from Alexandra Bayon, 14 from Wolf, 14 from Delizo, but the bulk of cases, 17 out of 70 cases out of 109, are coming from two judges. The same judges as in my case. Alexandra Bayon appointed him without any hearing. I'll make a separate video on that, in clear violation of case law and law. And when asked to remove him, Janet McFarland said, "I have no standing." That's how we end up with the state attorneys fighting you on endless government dime. Let's do the same thing for, close this, same thing for another attorney, Rita Kaufman. So last name is Kaufman. His name is Rita. Search. Here she is. Opening. That's her schedule. Control A, Control C for copy. Okay. Another file. Empty file. Paste. Remove unneeded lines. Delete. Delete. Select the table. Insert pivot table. Data model. Okay. Here's a pivot. Let's select judge as rows. Files as values. Let's select unique file numbers, so we don't count the same file twice. Let's do sort descending from big to small numbers by distinct count. Okay. And here you go. As of today, attorney Rita Kaufman has 68 cases. And again, 20 cases come from McFarland, 20 cases come from Alexandra Bayon. You want to check the attorney type? We can edit here. And you can see 6 cases she was appointed as 18B, that's government appointment for petitioner, 8 cases for respondent, 2 cases. Essentially, it's probably an error in the clerk's data entry, but it's the same thing said twice. So it's attorney for the child, 2 plus 7. So here you go. Bayon, appointment, same thing. State attorney 8, petitioner, 8 cases, 7 as an appointed attorney, state paid for respondent, and 9 cases as an attorney for the child. Interestingly enough, in this one case in front of Alexandra Bayon, she's also a retained attorney. So from time to time, they probably take a private case, but you can see from all of that, actually, that's the only case that she's a retained attorney. Everything else is government paid, 68 cases. So here you go. That's the methodology. You do the same for the judge's schedule. Again, calendar, we went through the process, right? Court, Richmond County, all locations, today, any far day in the future, year 26, find calendar. Okay, and enter the to date, 25, okay, any date, 22 today, 2025, find calendar. That's it. These are the schedules, calendars for the judges. Let's go McFarland. And then you copy CA, Control A, Control C, new, and paste. So basically, again, removing the unnecessary data. So preamble. That's the case. Now you can see if there are 3 attorneys, actually these lines, the preceding lines are empty. So I had to embed some formulas. I'll show you in order to make sure the data set is analyzable. So I have a prepared data here, prepared file. That's my analysis. So again, you see, that's what I copied. And then I just created very simple formulas for those who know. So if there's no corresponding, so if there's corresponding value in the cell, it just copies it. If there's none, it just copies the one above. Okay, same thing, time, file, docket number. This is almost always empty, as we said. Now for the attorney, you see, now essentially, that's what we need. It's a mini data set for that particular case. All the attorneys are here, so they are now identifiable, easy to analyze. Now, sometimes there are attorneys for the child, sometimes they're assigned, sometimes for the respondent. So what I created is a simple formula that just truncates. So we have only the name. That's the type of docket, also truncates the first letter. Simple formula for date of week. I'll show you. You can do it to analyze the workload, the day of the date, the month of the date, year, and then the week number. So basically, that's how it works. Now, that's a pivot that I have. That's just to show you. So use the same methodology. What I did, I took the data set that you just saw. It was done for the data set from April. I did the comparison. I'll show it to you in a minute. But that's a comparison. That's data set based on the schedule of McFarland on April 14th. So you can see that she has 256 cases. Now, these cases are the cases that have the attorneys. Sometimes there's no attorney. I assume there's parents who actually don't need an attorney, probably agreed and just finalizing the agreement in the court. So I excluded them. You see 0. That's when the column shows 0. I can include it. You can see that in 84 cases, there's no attorney at all, right? And it's a totality. That's the total number of cases, 326 that McFarland adjudicated in April. Okay, let me remove it again. Just no attorney, and see with whom we remain. So that's distribution by number of files. So you see she has a lot of attorneys. You can see the number of rows, 170, right? Actually, 170 minus 3. So we can do it really quickly. So let's remove distinct count by file, add attorney, distinct count will be only 1 for each one, right? Then you can see the total number of attorneys, 167 attorneys, right? So let's do again. Let's count by file. Unique file, count of file. Let's do unique, distinct. Okay, let's sort them from descending from the largest to smallest. And here you go. So you can clearly see that there's a small number of attorneys who get cases in double digits in front of McFarland, and some of them are record holders. Okay, Keegan, Wendy has 38 cases. Ian Berliner, the attorney in my case, has 37 cases in front of McFarland, had in April. We'll see in a minute how many he has today. And then other attorneys whose names are very familiar to those who litigate in family court in Staten Island. Harry Chu, Scott Schwartz, another attorney, last name Berliner. A lot of data here to analyze. Rosa Tragny is a very interesting point of investigation. Apparently, she worked together with McFarland and some professional social capacity, and Rita Kaufman again. So what I did here, let me show you. So I took the data that I just showed you on April. That's a snapshot of the data set, the calendar for April 14, and then on Sunday, I did the analysis on Sunday, and I'm just completing the video today, October 25th. So you can see that's the top 20 attorneys that get cases in front of McFarland, right? And I rank them, right? And also I checked the ranks 6 months after. And you can see there's virtually no change in the top 10. So those people who were in the top 10 cases, case receivers, appointees, in front of McFarland, they're the same 10. They switch places, but Ian Berliner, for example, stayed number 2, right? You have one up-and-coming contender. He was number 11 in April. Now he's number 7. But that's a percentage. So percentage is a bit tricky since it's not by case, essentially. Every case is potentially 3 spots, right? It's both sides and the child, and maybe more children. So I'm using a conservative metric. I'm just using the total number of cases, right? It was 256, excluding cases where no attorney is present at all. And you can see that the share is pretty high. So out of all cases in front of McFarland, Berliner has 14%, right? And probably way more. What's more important here, for the purpose of this presentation to the public is that you can see that the top 5 attorneys, right? That's a sum, 164 cases. So they account for 60 up to 90% of all cases. You can see that the bulk of files actually goes to the same group, right? And I will separately post the same information. Now, you can do other interesting stuff with the data. You can see McFarland's workload, for example. So let me show you how to quickly do it in the pivot. So let's remove this, remove this, remove this. Now I want to show you, since I added it to my analysis, I want to show you, you take year, you take a month, you take week number, and you do it by day or week, and you actually check the number of files. Again, let's select unique files, listing count. Okay. The sorting needs to be adjusted, so sort options, doing manual just to sort it by usual order of days of the week. So it's going to be Friday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's McFarland's workload, right? So some days is empty, some days she has several cases, but that's the workload. I did the same for attorneys. Let me show you. Is Berliner, that's his calendar, right? So you can see that he essentially, that's week 44 in month October, right? And you can see that he's pretty much in court every day.
So any way you slice it, whether you slice it by judges, whether you slice it by attorneys, you can see that the bulk of appointments in these lucrative cases that can bring literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in annual revenue are coming from certain judges. Is this normal? I don't think it's normal. So I have way more to say, and I'll say it in the future videos, in coming subsequent videos. But I wanted to just to present it to you. So I'll post the materials. Whoever wants can reach out to me. I wanna conclude just with a little story. So in 2001, I believe, there was a huge public outcry after 2 attorneys made a public letter complaining about not getting court appointments from the judge whom they assisted politically. It made a lot of noise at the time. Government created a commission. The ways the commissions go, it just waited for the public focus to go away. But they enacted a new part in the NYCRR rules, which required judges to report the cases, report the appointments. Let me read from the report. The report was ordered by the chief judge of the New York State Court System, and that's what the preamble of the report said. A fiduciary appointment process has been the target of extensive public criticism over the years, with charges that judges have selected fiduciaries based on factors other than merit, and complaints that fiduciary appointees have mishandled cases or received excessive fees for their assignments. Following widely publicized allegations regarding the connection between political party service, same party, baby butchering party, even though, of course, it's not a partial matter, it's a matter of predatory government as a whole, and the connection between political party services and receipt of fiduciary appointments in Brooklyn Supreme Court. We know it's everywhere. Chief Judge Judith S.K., maybe I'm mispronouncing her, apologies for my accent, hopefully my materials cover for that, last year announced a broad program to reform the state fiduciary appointment process. She created a high-level commission on fiduciary appointments to examine existing rules and practices and make recommendations for improvement. That's the report. I have it here. Let me show it to you. Oh, it's here. So that's the address. Okay. NYC, nycourts.gov /IP/GFS/IG fiduciary.html. But you can just type it, fiduciary appointments in New York, report to chief judge. So that's what I'm reading from. What transpired out of that scandal is this rule, part 36, appointments by the court. That's the preamble. Let me read. Public trust in the judicial process demands that appointments by judges be fair, impartial, and beyond reproach. Accordingly, these rules are intended to ensure that appointees are selected on the basis of merit, without favoritism, nepotism, politics, or other factors unrelated to the qualifications of the appointee of the requirements of the case. It also says, that's very important, the rules cannot be written in a way that foresees every situation in which they should be applied. Therefore, the appointment of trained and competent persons and the avoidance of factors unrelated to the merit of the appointments, right? And avoidance of factors unrelated to the merit of the appointments or the value of the work performed are fundamental objectives that should guide all appointments made. Now, you tell me, is this normal what we're seeing here, right? Is this normal that the same 10 attorneys get 60% of the cases? Is it normal that the majority of cases for a given attorney come from the same 2 or 3 judges? Is this normal? The work that I'm doing here is supposed to be done by a journalist, by a law professor, by a reporter, by other attorneys, but it's up to us. It's our obligation as public to hold the government, including these judges, accountable. So to conclude, as a treasure trove of information, I will keep publishing more. I will not be silenced. These people are harming my children, harming everybody's children, and it's up to us. The government works for us. They provide adjudication services. They're not supposed to provide earning basis for their friends who were potentially involved politically in order to get these judges elected, re-elected, you name it. It's, in my opinion, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Is it Zimbabwe or United States of America? This is unbelievable, and you have the proof here. Help me spread the information. Please support me in my work. Everybody is so important. I'm putting myself out there, very visible, very open about the torture that I and my children are subjected to, and I need your help. Speak out, be brave. We'll talk in the next video. Thank you.